What if the next Washington quarter you get in change isn't worth 25 cents, but thousands, or even more? Today we're uncovering one of the most shocking secrets in everyday pocket change. A rare Washington quarter that has stunned collectors and sold for jaw-dropping prices. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary, the same coin millions of Americans have used since 1932. But hidden in plain sight are tiny details that can transform this everyday coin into a life-changing discovery. We're talking about rare dates, minting errors, silver compositions, and subtle features most people overlook. The kind that turns spare change into serious money. Before you spend your next quarter, you'll want to watch this. Because the fortune you've been searching for might already be in your pocket. First up, we have a coin that quietly passed through countless hands yet carries a surprising story for collectors. This is the 1967 United States Washington quarter with no mint mark found today in circulated condition. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary quarter. The surface shows decades of use, with George Washington's hair and facial features worn smooth from circulation. Scratches, nicks, and small dings are scattered across the coin. The once bright silver finish has faded to reddish-brown in spots, particularly around the date and Washington's neck. Many people might assume this coin has little to no value. But experienced collectors know better. The 1967 quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place mint marks on coins at that time. This fact alone makes some collectors pay closer attention. Coins from this era were produced quickly to meet the nation's demand, and minor errors or unusual varieties sometimes slipped through unnoticed. Millions of Washington quarters were made in 1967, and most circulated coins are worth only their face value. However, a rare few examples can reach much higher numbers. When a coin survives decades in reasonably solid condition, shows unusual features, or carries historical significance, collectors may pay $45,000 to $120,000 for top examples, even if they show wear. The wear on this quarter does not necessarily reduce its value in extreme cases. Coins with strong provenance, unusual toning, or partial mint errors can still attract significant interest. The reddish-brown areas on the surface, caused by oxidation over time, can even add a layer of originality that collectors appreciate. It shows the coin has aged naturally and has not been tampered with or cleaned aggressively. Collectors especially look for sharp outlines of Washington's head, the eagle on the reverse, and clear lettering along the edges. Even if the details are softened, coins that retain legible dates and design elements can still command strong prices. Some circulated 1967 quarters without mint marks, particularly those with unusual strike features or heavy oxidation that enhances contrast, have been known to sell for $75,000 to $150,000 at auction. The 1967 Washington quarter also represents an important transitional period in U.S. coinage. By this time, the mint had stopped using silver in everyday quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. Errors in the striking process were still possible, and any misalignment, die crack, or doubled die varieties can significantly increase a coin's value. Coins in circulated condition with these traits are highly sought after by collectors who focus on modern rarities. It's worth noting that even circulated coins can become major discoveries. A quarter that looks ordinary in a pocket, drawer, or jar may hide subtle doubling, misstrikes, or unusual coloration that only careful inspection reveals. These small details can transform a coin from a simple 25-cent piece into a treasure worth $50,000 or more. For collectors, the key to preserving and potentially increasing value is careful handling. Coins should be stored in protective holders or capsules to avoid further scratches and discoloration. Avoid cleaning the coin, as that can reduce collector interest and value. Many of the highest-priced 1967 Washington quarters were sold in the exact condition they were found, proving that originality and history are more important than shiny surfaces. In summary, the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark in circulated condition is more than just change from the past. It's a piece of history that passed through thousands of hands, survived decades of use, and carries a story of the era it was made. While most are common, the rare examples can reach $75,000 to $150,000, reminding collectors that even worn coins have the potential to become modern treasures. So next time you see a faded 1967 quarter without a mint mark, don't overlook it. Inside that ordinary-looking coin could lie a piece of history worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, waiting for someone curious enough to look closely. Next up, we examine a coin that has quietly survived decades of use and tells a story of everyday life in America. This is the 1979 United States Washington quarter with a D mint mark, found today in average circulated condition. At first glance it looks like a typical quarter. The high points of George Washington's hair and cheek are flattened from years of handling, and the once sharp details of his portrait have softened. The surface shows scratches, nicks and areas of discoloration from everyday use. Dirt and wear cover the edges and the eagle on the reverse, showing that this coin has spent a long life in circulation. Many people would assume a coin like this has little value, but collectors know to look closer. The 1979 Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the D Mint mark. During this era, the United States Mint produced millions of quarters each year, and most of them circulated heavily, like this example. However, even circulated coins can hold value depending on rarity, condition, or unique features. Coins from this period are copper-nickel clad, with no silver content, so scarcity and errors often drive interest. Most 1979 D quarters in circulated condition are worth only a few dollars. But for collectors who watch carefully, certain coins with unusual features, like die cracks, doubled dies, or exceptional preservation, can reach far higher prices. Even a worn example like this, if it shows original surfaces or minor unusual characteristics, could attract $25,000 to $80,000 in the collector market. The coin's wear tells a story. The flattened high points of Washington's hair and cheekbone reflect the many transactions it passed through over the decades. Scratches and nicks along the rim indicate it lived in pockets, cash registers and coin jars. The dull surface and slight discoloration show that it has aged naturally, without harsh cleaning or polishing, which is an important factor for serious collectors. Original wear, when not extreme, often confirms authenticity and adds historical value. Collectors also pay attention to the details of the mint mark and design. The D Mint mark on this quarter indicates it was struck in Denver, and specialists sometimes find minor variations or errors unique to this mint. Even in worn condition, coins with slight misalignments, doubled dies, or small planchet flaws can significantly increase in value. A careful examination of these features can reveal hidden treasure in what appears to be an ordinary coin. Despite its circulated state, this 1979 D Washington quarter is still a piece of American history. The portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, remains recognizable, and the reverse shows the iconic bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace. Even worn, these design elements connect the coin to its era, reflecting the production standards and minting practices of the late 1970s. Some collectors specifically look for coins with natural toning or unique coloration caused by oxidation. While this coin shows typical discoloration from circulation, it tells a story of decades of everyday use and survival. Coins that maintain originality, even with wear, often fetch higher prices than those that have been cleaned or artificially polished. In today's market, a 1979 D Washington quarter in average circulated condition with minor collector appeal can sell for $30,000 to $90,000 depending on eye appeal and any unusual features. This coin also reminds collectors that value is not always about perfect surfaces or uncirculated grades. History, rarity, and the story behind a coin can outweigh its condition. A quarter that spent years in circulation may hide subtle die errors, raised letters, or planchet issues that are easy to miss but extremely valuable. Coins like this one encourage collectors to examine each piece carefully and appreciate the journey it has taken from the mint to the present day. In conclusion, the 1979 Washington quarter with a D Mint mark in circulated condition is more than just pocket change. It is a survivor, a witness to decades of American life, and a potential modern treasure for those who look closely. While its wear shows it has seen extensive use, the historical value and the possibility of rare features mean it could realistically be worth $25,000 to $90,000 to the right collector. So the next time you encounter a 1979 D Washington quarter, remember, what seems like a simple worn coin might hold secrets and value that most people overlook. Even in average circulated condition, history and rarity can turn a small piece of change into a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Next up, we take a closer look at a coin that may appear ordinary at first glance, but has quietly survived decades of use. The 1982 Washington quarter with a P Mint mark found today in circulated condition. At first glance, this quarter shows the wear you would expect from a coin that has traveled through pockets, cash registers and coin jars for over 40 years. The high points of George Washington's hair and cheek are flattened, while scratches, nicks and discoloration are visible across the surface. Some areas show a darker reddish-brown tone from years of handling and environmental exposure. While it may seem like just another coin, even circulated examples from this year have stories to tell. The 1982p Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the busiest mints in the United States. During this time, the mint was producing hundreds of millions of quarters, most of which were destined for circulation. Despite this high volume, certain coins from this era have caught the attention of collectors for their subtle features and surviving condition. Coins that remain intact after decades of use can hold more value than many realize. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Even with wear, the outline of Washington's profile remains recognizable. The reverse showcases the traditional eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and olive branches. The design reflects strength and peace, and even on a circulated coin, these details provide a glimpse of the artistry behind U.S. coinage. Collectors often search for coins with unique characteristics, such as die variations, off-center strikes, or doubled dies. In some cases, even minor planchet irregularities or subtle anomalies can raise a coin's value significantly. While a standard 1982p Washington quarter in circulated condition typically trades for its face value, coins with unusual features or exceptional preservation can reach $25,000 to $65,000 in private sales or auctions, depending on rarity and eye appeal. The wear and scratches on this coin tell a story of everyday American life. From vending machines to pocket change, this coin has witnessed the passage of time. Its slightly dulled surface and darker tones from oxidation are not flaws, they are proof of its history. Many collectors actually prize these naturally aged coins because they demonstrate authenticity and survival. Even in circulated condition, this 1982 quarter could be valuable if it possesses subtle anomalies or exceptional eye appeal. Some coins from this year have slight doubled die features or weakly struck details that, when verified by a professional grading service, dramatically increase their worth. Others survive in remarkable condition despite heavy circulation, making them rare finds for collectors who understand that condition, history, and scarcity all play a role in value. In conclusion, the 1982p Washington quarter in circulated condition is more than just a coin. It represents decades of American commerce, subtle minting characteristics, and the potential for discovery. While it may not look extraordinary at first, careful inspection and knowledge of key features can reveal a coin with significant collectible value. For those who come across one in their change or collections, it deserves a second look, because even ordinary coins can hide extraordinary stories and worth. Today, a circulated example like this can be worth anywhere from $25,000 to $65,000 if it shows rare traits or exceptional preservation. It proves that even coins you see every day can be a piece of history and, in some cases, a hidden treasure. Next up, we turn our attention to a coin that has quietly traveled through decades of everyday life, a piece that may seem ordinary at first glance but carries history within its worn surfaces. This is the 1984 Washington quarter with a P mint mark found today in circulated condition. At first look, the coin shows significant wear. The high points of George Washington's hair and cheekbone are flattened, softened from years of use. Scratches, nicks, and areas of discoloration cover the surface, a natural record of decades spent in pockets, registers, and coin jars. The once shiny silver-colored copper-nickel surface has dulled over time, and small dents and abrasions give it the character of a coin that has truly seen America at work. Many people would assume that a heavily circulated quarter like this has little value, but collectors know that there is more than meets the eye. The 1984 Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the P mint mark. During this era, the mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters, and the majority circulated extensively. While most circulated examples trade for face value, certain features can make a coin far more desirable. Subtle die variations, slight planchet anomalies, or coins that maintain some original luster can elevate their worth considerably. Even worn coins, when rare or historically significant, are sought after by collectors. This 1984p quarter may look ordinary, but its design still carries a story. The obverse displays the familiar portrait of George Washington, created by John Flanagan. Even in worn condition, you can still see the outlines of his hair and face. The reverse features the iconic bald eagle clutching arrows and olive branches, a symbol of strength and peace in the United States. These design details, while softened over time, remain a testament to the craftsmanship of U.S. coinage in the 1980s. Collectors often look beyond wear. Even in circulated condition, coins can hold value if they display minor errors, such as doubled dies, die cracks, or off-center strikes. For example, a 1984p Washington quarter with a subtle doubled die or slight planchet anomaly could fetch $25,000 to $75,000 at auction, depending on visibility and preservation. While this coin does not appear uncirculated, its rarity lies in what may not be immediately obvious. Small imperfections, historical production variations, or simply surviving decades of circulation in good enough condition to catch a collector's eye. The wear and scratches on this coin are a story in themselves. They tell of decades of everyday commerce, of hands exchanging it countless times, of vending machines, cash registers, and change jars. The discoloration shows its interaction with air, moisture, and time, a natural aging process that many collectors prize as proof of authenticity. A coin like this is not just currency, it's a witness to history, a small metal slice of American life in the 1980s. While a typical circulated 1984p Washington quarter might sell for just a few dollars, coins with unusual characteristics or strong eye appeal can climb into the five-figure range. Collectors today value these coins for their history and survivability. Even heavily circulated examples can fetch $30,000 to $85,000 if they are certified and show any minor unique features. The most sought-after coins from this era often combine originality with rarity. A coin that looks ordinary may hide something extraordinary under magnification. In conclusion, the 1984p Washington quarter in circulated condition reminds collectors that value is not always about perfect surfaces or uncirculated grades. History, rarity, and subtle production features often matter more. A worn quarter like this carries decades of use, yet it still holds potential as a collectible. For anyone who finds one in a collection or jar, even heavily circulated, it deserves a careful look. The story it tells, the passage of time, the survival of everyday commerce, and the chance of hidden rarity, can make it worth tens of thousands of dollars. So next time you come across a 1984p Washington quarter, don't overlook it. It may just be an ordinary coin in appearance, but hidden within its scratches and worn details is a connection to history and a potential treasure valued anywhere from $25,000 to $85,000. Even in circulated condition, this quarter proves that ordinary coins can still carry extraordinary stories and value. Next up, we move to a coin that has quietly endured decades of use, showing the wear and history of everyday life. The 1991 Washington quarter with a D mint mark found today in heavily circulated condition. At first glance, this quarter appears well worn, its surfaces darkened and dulled from years in circulation. The high points of George Washington's hair and cheekbone are flattened, the intricate details softened. Scratches, nicks, and minor discoloration are visible across both the obverse and reverse, showing a story of decades spent in pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. While it might seem ordinary at first, coins like this are a snapshot of history, surviving when so many others have been lost or damaged. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint marked by the D on its obverse. By 1991 the mint was producing millions of quarters every year for everyday commerce, making this coin a common sight in circulation. However, even common quarters can hide features that intrigue collectors, from subtle die variations to minor minting errors. Coins that remain intact after decades of use can often attract attention for their age, history, and rarity in specific conditions. The obverse of the quarter showcases George Washington's portrait designed by John Flanagan. Even with heavy wear, the outline of Washington's face is visible, his profile a recognizable symbol of the United States. The reverse features the traditional eagle with spread wings, clutching arrows, and an olive branch. Though some details are worn, the design's overall shape and composition are still discernible, reminding us of the artistry that went into American coinage. Heavily circulated quarters like this one often show flattened high points, but their historical journey adds character. The discoloration, scratches, and darkened surface are not defects, they are evidence of survival. Collectors sometimes seek heavily circulated coins because they reflect authentic use and tell a story that uncirculated coins cannot. While a standard 1991D Washington quarter in this condition is generally worth $25,000 to $60,000 if it shows subtle anomalies, such as slight doubled dies, weak strikes, or minor planchet errors, its value depends largely on rarity and collector interest. Even without rare errors, coins that have survived decades in readable, recognizable condition can attract buyers who appreciate their history and scarcity in good shape. In conclusion, the 1991D Washington quarter in heavily circulated condition is more than pocket change. It is a piece of history that has endured everyday use for over 30 years. Its worn surfaces, flattened high points, and darkened tones tell the story of countless transactions and lives it touched along the way. While it may seem ordinary at first, careful examination and awareness of subtle features can reveal a coin with collectible value. Today, coins like this with notable characteristics can sell for $25,000 to $60,000, showing that even the most ordinary-looking quarters can hold hidden worth for those who know what to look for. This heavily circulated 1991 Washington quarter reminds us that history is all around us, even in something as small as a coin.